In today's video, we're going to be talking about what appears to be a massive pattern change on the way. We've seen signs like this not come through and end up happening. We have seen them end up happening as well. So we're still in the early phases of this, but it does seem like we are leaning towards a pattern that is going to warm up significantly. It's pretty easy to lean that way because first off, all the signs point towards it. For one thing, so that's a clear indication. But also, when you've been so far below normal temperatures, all it needs to do is return to normal and we have a massive warm up. Now, on the other hand, these models are showing us swing from massively below normal temperatures to pretty significantly above normal temperatures, which would make it a very dramatic switch in the pattern. So we're going to be discussing all of these things today. The tropics are still extremely quiet, nothing to discuss. And we have very minimal storminess happening around the nation. We will go over it, but it is quite minimal. So let's take a look first off at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here from the National Weather Service, as we always do. And this goes from September 15th all the way till September 19th. Now, we might take note here that the East Coast is still hanging on for dear life to some of these slightly below normal temperatures there along the immediate coast. I'm assuming that tomorrow's 6 to 10 day temperature outlook will not feature this any longer, so this is probably the last of it for now. We do see a warmer to neutral west here, so slightly positive PNA, but hardly here. And then the warmest of the temperatures are expected to be here along your plains and a lot of your Midwest and Deep South locations. Moving forward towards the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here, which will go from September 17th all the way till September 23rd. And we can see a return to warmer conditions, even further warmer conditions along the western seaboard. And we also see very warm temperatures now spreading further eastward as they navigate from being centered over the plains to more so the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Deep South, and even approaching areas in the southeast as well. That's where the heart of it is kind of shifting. Still parts of the immediate East Coast looking a lot closer to normal. But again, normal is going to be a good 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what we've been experiencing for the most part recently. We did have some warmer days over the weekend, but for the most part from late August till now on September 9th, we've been used to temperatures now in the mid to low 70s, even upper 60s for some locations. A return to normal is going to be an increase for sure that is tangible. You're going to feel it. So let's take a look at how the past 10 days of temperatures have gone so far. So this is the final day of August and then the first 9 days of September. And we can see this primarily warm west has really dominated the pattern. We call that a positive PNA, and this has forced multiple cooldowns into the central and eastern states over the last 2 or so weeks. It's been significant. The blues are anywhere from 1 to 10 degrees below normal. The darker blues being closer to that 10 degree mark. And that is significant. That is averaging 10 degrees below normal over a 10-day period. That is very significant. The greens are 10 to 15 degrees below normal, so we even take it a step further for parts of the plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley. Funny enough, these areas that have been the coldest are looking to perhaps be the warmest upcoming, so they're going to see the most dramatic flip here out of anybody. Let's quickly take a look here at the upcoming precipitation, and again, it is going to be quite minimal. There's a couple days here where we can see the Northwest being quite active as well as parts of the Midwest, but very inactive in the East. Unless you're in Florida, it is okay for those areas. Wednesday, again, thunderstorms throughout Florida. We also see some along the Mid-Atlantic. It's been very weird weather that we're having here along the East Coast. It's been very rainy today, almost like a mist that's been happening with some considerable wind, gusty conditions for Virginia here at least, and I know it's similar for other parts of the East Coast. So it's been an interesting day. We do see along, again, the Northwest into parts of the plains. Over the central and northern Rockies, we do have some showery activity as well for Wednesday the 10th, tomorrow. Looking forward towards Thursday on the 11th, we do see, again, Florida seeing a little bit of activity. Also, the Northwest here into parts of the Rockies and northern plains. Showery conditions, that's going to be the trend here. Friday the 12th, really, really similar. Some of the Carolinas seeing some activity, but again, very minimalistic. Saturday on the 13th here, it almost looks like a low is trying to get going, but pressure-wise, it's not. It's really just your seeing showery activity, maybe some thunderstorms here for the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina there. Again, Rockies quite active, as well as the northern plains. That's, again, going to be quite a theme here. Sunday, pretty similar. North Carolina seeing some rainfall. Not a lot else in the east. We do see some of the plains and northwest. Monday on the 15th here, we do see the northern Rockies, upper Midwest. Very, very quiet here. Tuesday the 16th, some showers across the mid-Atlantic and northeast, which is much needed. It's good to see this, and hopefully this sticks around in the forecast, because they're going to need every little bit they can get, especially with how quiet it is really expected to be. Wednesday the 17th here, we do see a lot of the upper Midwest, parts of the plains, still seeing showery activity, as well as the mid-Atlantic and northeast. As we keep going towards Thursday here on the 18th, not a whole lot's changed. We're going to move right past it. Friday on the 19th, again, northwest, Midwest, not a whole lot else outside of that. Saturday is quite similar. So is Sunday the 21st here. So is Monday the 22nd, although it is moving more towards the mid-Atlantic here in parts of the northeast. Tuesday the 23rd is the same thing. And then right at the end of the model run, I mean, northwest, Midwest, and the mid-Atlantic and northeast, which is the more notable area by this point, but it's in the very long range. So you'd rather see this in the shorter range, so it's more of a sure thing to happen, but it looks like perhaps we start to see activity picking back up, hopefully. Looking at the total precipitation, there's no surprise that the northwest, northern plains, and parts of the Midwest are going to be your most close to or above average precipitation areas in the nation. We do see drastically below normal precipitation across a lot of your deeper south and southeast locations. And then we're still below normal for the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast here, although it's much closer to normal, and it's inches more than what we're seeing in the Southeast and Deep South, but it's not going to be enough to be above normal for most areas. There will be some above average there for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, as you'll see right now. So let's take a look at it, and again, above normal in the Northwest, above normal for the Northern Plains and Midwest. Deep South and Southeast is just really, really dry compared to normal. This is drastic. And then the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast kind of gets bailed out by the long range, which again leans me to believe that this could be drier than what this is showing. But hopefully not. Hopefully you guys get a fair amount of precipitation. It's at least close to normal. That's what we can all kind of hope for, is that part of the nation really, really needs it at this point. Looking at the temperatures, though, this is where that big pattern change does occur. Again, cooler air is still around, and it's going to be around. This is Friday the 12th. It's still around for the east, but look at this. The southwest starts to cool down, and that is going to take us away from a more traditional positive PNA pattern, and that is what's going to force some of this warmer air eastward. So this is, again, just a few days from now on the 12th. As we keep going towards later on that early next week, Monday the 15th here. Again, just like the National Weather Service is showing, just little bits of cooler air along the East Coast trying to hang on for dear life. Still neutral at best for the PNA, maybe even a little bit of a negative PNA, as these cooler areas are much cooler than normal. And the main center of the warm air is, in fact, the plains, Midwest, Deep South here, similar to what the National Weather Service is showing at this point. And as we keep going, I mean, the East Coast just hangs on to some of this cooler air, even towards the 20th, the immediate East Coast is much cooler. Areas just inland are warmer than normal by this point, though. And every frame we stop at, you notice there's areas of pretty significant cooler air here in Western North America. And that is going to continue to kind of just wrap around this warmth up into the central and eastern states for the most part, if this occurs exactly this way, which we're beyond 10 days out by this point, so definitely take it with a grain of salt. But Wednesday the 24th, still cooler in the west comparatively to the east, and we see pretty significant warmer air in the central and eastern states, unfortunately. GFS model, let's take a look at it here. We're going to get some pretty similar agreement. We get a similar pattern up until the 20th. It looks like we get warmer along the west again, so we do return to more of a positive PNA look out here. And we start to see these cooler shots trying to move in here to the central states at least, and it's trying desperately to move into the east. And it does sort of move in until we get a pretty massive Arctic blast out west, which brings us into a fully negative PNA, and then we get significantly warmer temperatures in the central and eastern states. basically the consensus here, at least for today's model runs, is both do show pretty significant warmth in the central and eastern states after the 20th and just before it. So definitely looking to be a change at this point. Again, I've seen things like this kind of fall through, but I think that it's pretty easy to lean this way with the current guidance that we have and just how long we've been so far below normal as far as temperatures. It really doesn't make sense for us to stay in that pattern. It would be bordering on something unlike anything I've ever seen. So this makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure there will be cooldowns after this point with how all of the sea surface temperatures are set up around the globe. I think that we're in for more cooldowns for the fall time, but this could be a little bit of a warm-up phase that we move into for late September. It's kind of how I'm leaning, so we'll see what happens. Be sure to subscribe. We upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.